Hello everyone and welcome to week 3 in environmental science. This is a view of our week 3 module in Canvas, and I wanted to point out that there's something different here at the top. There's an extra assignment this week and it's a lab report peer review. I have organized this in a small group discussion. So you're going to be in a group with 2 of your peers. You are going to upload a draft of your seedling growth and germination lab report. There's a bunch of details about what I'm looking for in this lab report on this assignment page. Let's just take a quick look at the lab report guidelines. Basically, I'm looking for a title, an abstract, and a well-organized figure or table displaying your data. You have already created 2 figures displaying your data. So you've done 1 out of 3 of these things. So in week 2, you graphed your seedling germination and your seedling lengths in Excel. That's going to be part of your lab report. So you need to work on writing a title, and there's a bunch of advice here and some sample titles. You need to work on writing an abstract. This should be under 250 words. And then for your results, all we'll need is those graphs that you created in week 2 with figure descriptions below them. So here's some example of figure descriptions with these figures. So that is something, let's see. So this is this page has other resources to help you write your first lab report, including a sample lab report, a lab report resources page. If you scroll down, you'll see the grading rubric that I'm going to use. So there's a ton of resources here to get you started on your lab report. So back to this peer review small group discussion. So you're going to be in here with a group of 3. So 3 students per group. You're going to upload your draft of your lab report, your seedling germination and seedling length with varying salinity lab report. And then later in the week, so that you need to upload your lab report by Wednesday of week 3. After Wednesday, hopefully you'll be able to see some of your peers' lab reports in here. You are going to use this grading rubric, so copy and paste it into your post to give your peer feedback about their lab report. So you're going to see, does their title meet this description? Does their abstract meet this description? Etc., etc. So you are being asked to give your peer some feedback using this grading rubric. So one other thing that I wanted to mention is that because of the long weekend, I won't be able to get to giving you feedback on the figures you created in the week 2 lab until Tuesday. But that does give you a little bit of time. If you're doing this on Wednesday, make sure you check that feedback and incorporate it into your figures before you post them here. Okay, so the rest of the parts of this module are a little more typical. We have a week 3 content page, and I want you to explore this content as you read these pages in your textbook. So these are the learning objectives for this week about populations. These are some terms that I recommend you make flashcards for if you're unfamiliar with any of these. And then here's some images and text and videos to help you understand the content in week 3 that relates to evolution, biodiversity, and then here's a video about population ecology. We're also going to have a discussion about natural selection. If you're feeling like you don't really know how to approach a discussion, this is a support video that a former student made. Here are the directions for the initial post, along with some resources that may be useful. I'm asking you to define natural selection in your own words, explain how it operates, and then emphasize the role of mutation. Then I want you to give your opinion about whether you think it affects humans and our societies. We often get a lot of posts about human evolution specifically, so evolution occurring within our species, but I also want you to think about how evolution in other species like microbes and viruses and insect pests impacts human societies. So think broadly about this as you draft your initial posts. This is also due by Wednesday, with your responses to peers due by the end of the day on Saturday. So 2 things due Wednesday: your initial post and your lab report for peer review. This week's laboratory is going to get you outside sampling a plant population. Here's a protocol with a list of some materials that are required. So you do need some materials. I recommend that you have a printed copy or a mobile digital device so that you can read the lab, because you are going to do this outside. You need to carve out some time where there's daylight because you're going to be counting plants within 10 plots. You need a meter stick. If you bought one of our kits, you should have a string that's 1 meter in length. You need a measuring tip, or if you bought one of our kits, you should have 2 strings that are 10 meters long, with each meter indicated on the string with tape. You need access to a random number generated. I gave you a hyperlink in the protocol. These are pretty readily available through the web. You need 4 objects, something like forks or pine cones or rocks, something that you can probably find out there when you're doing your study, to delineate the corners of a square 1 by 1 meter plot. And then you might want some objects to put along your measuring tape or along your string to show you where the 1 meter mark is, 2 meter mark, 3 meter mark. So these objects did not come in your kits, but hopefully you can find them in your backyard or in the natural area that you're working in. And then you'll need a digital camera. You could use your smartphone camera to photograph one of your plots. So you're going to follow this procedure to make a sampling area and then sample random plots within it. So you're going to use your random number generator to get 2 random numbers. So if you had a 2, you would walk over here 2 meters on your x-axis, and then if you had a 7, you would walk up 7 meters on your y, and then you would place a 1 by 1 meter plot in that location in your sample area. So within that plot, you're going to count the number of individuals of a plant that you are choosing to study. It could be a dandelion. It could be, some kind of little oak seedling. They need to be relatively small plants. There's some other suggestions about good plants to use in the protocol. So what I'm looking for is for you to collect the data in this data table. So you'll have the number of individual per plots and maybe some plot notes. And then you're going to walk through an analysis of those data on this page. And then finally, I'm going to ask you to answer these 6 questions about your analyzed data. You'll turn in a picture of one of your plots, a picture of your data sheet, and the answers to the questions here. Finally, in week 3, we have a 10-question practice quiz. You can take this 5 times. There's no time limit. This is just a way to help you get ready for the graded week 3 quiz. So this one's worth 10 points, and it has a 15-minute time limit. Okay, so real quickly, just to recap, we've got one sort of special item in the week 3 module. That's your lab report for peer review small group discussion. Please post your lab reports here by Wednesday. Wednesday is also when your first post in the natural selection discussion is due. Everything else, the population ecology lab and the graded quiz, as well as your responses to peers and peer reviews, are due Saturday at 11:59 p.m. Okay, have a great week, and please reach out if you have any questions.